Let's talk about Dany's claim to the throne, because that couldn't possibly go wrong. Now, as with anything else, there are two sides to this. People say Dany has a claim, other people say Dany has absolutely no claim. Let's just discuss both sides to start with. First off, the people who say that Dany has a claim to the throne use the fact that the Targaryens built the Seven Kingdoms as an empire. Unfortunately, that's irrelevant, because their Seven Kingdoms is not the current Seven Kingdoms. You see, according to medieval law, when Robert Baratheon took over, it became a different kingdom. It is now the Baratheon Seven Kingdoms rather than the Targaryen Seven Kingdoms. The Targaryen Seven Kingdoms no longer exists, along with House Targaryen, which has been completely disbanded, and as such, she has no claim to the throne through that route. The other side say that because of right of conquest, she has no right to the throne. Now, even though I've just said she has no claim to the throne, that's not why. You see, right of conquest is when any area of land is taken from its old rulers and annexed into another kingdom. It is where they say that my right to rule is stronger than yours, within my own area and within yours, and so now your land is mine. And that's not quite what happened in the Seven Kingdoms. So what did happen? Well, rather than considering it an issue of right of conquest, we can instead talk about it as a right of rebellion. Now, these two are just very slightly different. Right of conquest is where an outside force comes in and takes over land. Right of rebellion is where the dual rights of kingship pass from one party to another due to the original owner's mistreatment, generally. Insert Aerys the Mad King. In order to understand this, we have to understand how kingship works. And this is most obviously illustrated in the symbol of the Russian Tsars, the two-headed eagle. The reason the eagle has two heads is, besides looking quite awesome, is to illustrate the dual nature of kingship. Kingship is drawn from both a civil right and a divine right. The civil right is that the king is accepted by the people, or more generally, by the lords in representation of the people. The divine right shows that the monarch is accepted by God, or gods, within, say, the Seven Kingdoms. And this is functionally represented as being crowned by whatever religious order is central to the kingdom. Now, when Robert Baratheon rebelled, what happened was that lords decided they no longer wanted to be under a Targaryen king, and instead they transferred their civil right to the Baratheons. After that, when the rebellion was over, the Sept, who are the major religion of the Seven Kingdoms, crowned Robert Baratheon, saying that yes, the gods recognize your right to be king. In this way, both civil and divine right pass to the Baratheons. That's just the difference between rebellion and conquest. Rebellion is that the same rights pass to the new king, whereas conquest is where the old rights are superseded. Generally, the civil still requires acceptance, but generally the divine right is completely replaced by a new external religion. Now, this brings up some interesting points when it comes to the War of the Five Kings. Because while we've established that Daenerys doesn't have a right to the throne, which of the kings in the War of the Five Kings did? And in the end, it's really only two of them. You see, you have the king on the Iron Isles, who is not fighting for the same land, and he's not fighting for the same god. Same with King in the North, so neither of these have any claim to the Iron Throne, but rather are forging their own new kingdoms. On top of this, you have Stannis Baratheon, who, while he is fighting for the Seven Kingdoms, he is not fighting for the Sept. He is fighting for R'hllor, who would be a completely new god as such a new divine right and as such a new kingdom. So in the end, the War of the Five Kings for the Iron Throne was really only a war between Renly Baratheon, fighting for the Sept and the Seven Kingdoms, the same civil and divine right, and the Lannisters, who were again fighting for the Sept and the Seven Kingdoms, the same civil and divine right. In the end, it is important that both the civil aspect and the divine aspect remain the same, otherwise the right is non-transferable. And yeah, that's the very long-winded way of saying Daenerys has no claim to the throne. But what do you think about this? Are there any among you who are going to go, "No, that's not how medieval law works"? Please just let me know. But yeah, I think we can safely say Dany can stay on her side of the narrow sea being boring as batshit.